The common thing I get when I tell people that I'm single, or if I say I'm single and celibate, it's like, oh my god, what's wrong with you? Are you a lesbian? Do you have STDs and stuff like that? And I'm just like, first of all, no, I'm not a lesbian. I like sausage, and I definitely don't have any STDs, but people make it seem like it's a crime if you're, I guess, quote unquote, good looking and have stuff going for yourself. Like it's almost impossible to be single. So today I thought I would enlighten you guys on why I'm single, and then that can probably give you guys some perspective on why other people choose the single life, and so you guys can stop looking at us like we're committing a crime, and then me having being celibate makes it seem like a felony or something. So I'm gonna talk about that today in this video. So I've pretty much been single for the entirety of my adult life. I just turned 25. But I have dated over the years. There's people who think that I've never dated and stuff like that. Some of my family members, they probably think I'm like a prude or something. I don't know. But I did date and stuff like that, especially like in college and stuff. Like when I was in college, I dated a guy. Like we were seeing each other for about a good year or so. And honestly, we were okay, I guess. Stuff just went sour in the end when he wasn't upfront about stuff, and so I had tried to cut him off, but like he was like a parasite. He would not go away. He would not go away. Anyways, after that, I dated a couple other guys in college, but nothing like serious or that gotten too far. I just think that they weren't for me. It's not like they were bad guys. I can't say I've dated bad guys. I can't say that. Like the guys I come across or that I go for typically aren't bad, I would say. They're typically not that bad. They just weren't good for me. Not all people that are good necessarily are good for you. And then after I left college though, I had so much going on, like personally, like as far as like with my college struggle and stuff like that. I mentioned a little bit about it in my Road to Financial Freedom video. And so after that, I just wanted to get my stuff together. Like I left college at 22, so at that point I wasn't even thinking about guys or anything like that. Like I really wasn't. Like my mother and like family members, friends, stuff like acquaintances, everybody would just be like, "Oh, you're not seeing anybody yet, Unika? You're not seeing anybody, this, that, and the third." Like, um, no, I'm trying to get my life together. Like that's really what it was. Like, me trying to get my life together. I had just quit dating. I took myself off the market. And it's not like I had like really bad experiences with dating. I really didn't. Like I said, I came across really cool guys over the years. I just was in a place where it was just like, I need to get to know me. I need to get to understand me and learn what I like, what I want out of a relationship and stuff like that. Like I had to take a portion of that time from me leaving college to now to just get to know myself and basically date myself. And I feel like there's a lot of people in relationships who they don't really understand themselves, and they're trying to like understand other people, and I feel like that's a little bit ridiculous. And that's why sometimes people are married for 10 and 20 years and then they end up divorced. I honestly feel like that's a big part of it. And why I say that is because I talk to a lot of older married couple and people who have been divorced and stuff like that, because I'm always asking for like their tips and advice and stuff like that, because I would preferably not ever have to get a divorce or anything like that. So it's good to learn from those who have. So I took that period of time to get to know myself, because one of the common things that they would say is they felt like they spent so many years trying to get them to know themselves, at the same time like trying to get to know their partner. By the time it's like they figured out themselves, it's like they figured, okay, this isn't the person I want, or this isn't really the person for me. You know what I mean? So me taking that time to get to know myself, like it brought me to a place where now it's like, okay, I know exactly what I'm looking for. I mean, I don't have a list or anything, but I know what I'm looking for out of a man. I know what I'm looking for out of a relationship. And there are people in relationships who don't even know what they really want. But I feel like me taking that time, I was able to do that. And so now I actually do date, so I might not be single for too much longer. Who knows? I don't know. So, and I'll speak a little bit more on dating a little later. So as far as why I've been celibate, I became celibate at like 21. So I've been celibate, coming up in May would be 4 years. And celibacy, what can I say about celibacy? It's quite an interesting journey. I actually never thought I could actually last this long being celibate, but I think the fact that I wasn't trying to date anyone and stuff like that made it a little bit easier. But why I became celibate, so when I was in college, I was seeing a lot of people like getting pregnant, having baby mama, baby daddy issues, catching STDs and stuff like that. And I was just like, yeah, I don't think this is the life that I want. I don't want that. And I know me, and if I like was to ever get pregnant, like I could not go through with an abortion. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with those who do, but I just know myself so well that I know I couldn't do that. And then I didn't want to be a young mother, so it's like, okay, what do you do? So I was like trying to be celibate or whatever, and then I ended up having a slip up. I actually started trying the whole celibacy thing at like 20, right? I kept saying it, but like to be honest, I wasn't really believing myself, but I was actually doing pretty good. And then when I was like 21, yeah, I was 21, I had to slip up with the guy that I, first was seeing in college. Like we were seeing each other, yeah, for about a year or whatever. And then after that had ended, he would keep like trying to talk to me, trying to like whatever get back in my good graces. But I just would not talk to him. I would not anything. But then one night, for some reason, my drunk self decided to respond to one of his messages. So I responded to his message, and we linked up or whatever. And that night, reality really hit me, because he came there with no protection, which he's never done before. And then he knows I don't take birth control. I don't believe in unprotected sex before marriage either. So it's like, he came there, and I felt like he was trying to use his opportunity, because I was like a little tipsy or whatever. But I'm like, in my drunken state, I'm very aware of what is going on. So then, yeah, I felt like that night, I honestly felt like, I don't know what he was on, but I don't know, he may have been trying to get me pregnant. I could be wrong, but when I like asked him about it, like way after, like he like totally would like be like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Just pretended like he didn't know what I'm talking about. But I'm like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I was drunk, but I was not that drunk. And so that night I realized, like, had I not been an aware person, like, who knows, I could have a baby right now. And, like, I'm not trying to be having no babies at a young age. So that night I kind of like, really went full force into like being celibate, because I was actually terrified. Like when I thought about it, I was like, oh shit, like luckily God was like with me, and like, oh no, it's not time or something. I don't know. But that night I just basically like had a wake up call quickly. So since then I've been celibate. I've not reverted or anything. Celibacy is like, while it has its challenges, it actually has not been that bad, and I actually don't regret going celibate, because I feel like I just see a lot of stuff that goes on and that happens with sex, and it's just like I didn't want those things to happen to me, and I didn't want to be a young mother. So or I should say, I don't want to be a mother before I'm ready. So I just chose to be celibate. I'm not celibate until marriage or anything. I'm just celibate until I basically meet someone who I'm willing to take on the risk that comes with sex. So now if someone comes along who I feel is right for me, then I don't think I'll have a problem breaking my celibacy. And then like I have to make sure he'll be a good like father figure and stuff like that. You know, I won't have a problem breaking my celibacy, but you know, as always, I make sure they use protection. I'm not having nobody put no babies in me unless they have a ring on this finger. You're not putting a baby in me. It's not going to happen. But some of these dudes be trying it. So ladies, y'all be needing to watch out too. It's not just the fellas that have to watch out with getting trapped. Like us women, we have to watch out as well. So yeah, so that's pretty much my celibacy journey. And like I said, I don't do the whole celibate till marriage, because I feel like it does matter to ensure that you and your partner are sexually compatible. I feel like there are people who get married and they're like celibate or whatever, and then they find out your partner can't please you, and it's just like, I'm not trying to be in one of those situations. Like, I need to make sure that you can actually please me before I go marrying you, because that does matter. It's not being like shallow or anything. Like, it's just real life, you know. As far as the challenges with being celibate, it's the temptation factor. I am constantly tempted, especially now that I date and stuff again. I feel like it's tougher. It's very tough, because you be out with a guy who you find attractive. They have a lot going for themselves. You know, like some of their plans is lining up with yours. So you sometimes want to do things that you should not be doing as yet. But so I'm constantly fighting temptation. I'm constantly in the back of my head having to tell myself a temporary fix is not worth long-term problems. Like, that's what I constantly have to tell myself. And it kind of works. Well, I'm not gonna say it kind of works. It does work, because I haven't gone there yet. But it's definitely tough. And then not just that, but it's also the factor that some people are just, or some guys in my case, are not going to be okay with you being celibate. You know, like some of them don't want to wait, but how I see it is just like, if you're not willing to wait for me, then you don't really want me, and you can go. I feel like the man that God has for me will be willing to wait a little bit. I feel like it's not like I'm telling you you have to wait till marriage or anything like that. But you know, if you don't want to wait until I'm ready, then that's okay. You can go. Like, that's just basically how I look at it. But those are some of the challenges of it. One of the incident was, remember the parasite I spoke about earlier? So for a couple years after I had tried to cut him off, like, he just wouldn't leave me alone. And so at one point, once I like got through that whole phase of like getting to know myself and all that good stuff, I finally like gave in and said, okay, I'll give you a chance. I'll come visit you. Just know that I am celibate, so I don't want you to have any of those expectations, right? At first, he tried to play along like he was okay with it, but then after we had got into an argument, I found out that he was not okay with it. He was not okay with it at all. And that's the thing and the challenge with celibacy is like you're gonna come across people who they'll try to play along like, hey, I'm good with that, I'm good with that. They're not good with it most of the time. I'm not saying all of them are not. Like there are some guys who like they'll tell you straight, okay, I'll try it out, but I'll let you know if I can't do it anymore. Or like they'll be upfront. But then there are others who will play along like they're okay with it and they're not okay with it. And I'm not saying that it's natural to be okay with that, because naturally we're humans, we're sexual beings, most of us. So it's not something that we are able to really be like, okay, I'm good with that. Like, because even in the beginning, I was just like, how am I going to do this? But I've done just fine because I've just learned to fight temptation. And that's the thing too. A lot of people do not know how to control themselves. And the thing with being celibate is that it requires a vast amount of self-control. Like when I tell you I have so much self-control, I don't think there's any person that has as much self-control as me. Like it's taught me so much self-control, and that actually helps in other parts of my life, not just like personal life as far as dating. Like it helps me with self-control as far as like just dealing with people in general, like and also just career-wise and stuff like that. Like I've learned to be like so patient. I've always been kind of patient, but I'm like extremely patient now. And I'm like, if someone like irritates me and stuff like that, like I'm more able to like just breathe in and kind of like control it better. The misconception that a lot of outsiders have about people who are celibate that I see is that, oh, you must be a prude and you must not be sexual and stuff like that. That is not the case, okay? I'm a very sexual being. I am. And I'm far from a prude if you really know me. But I just learned to control myself to a great amount. Like a great amount. I've just learned to control any urges that I have. I just learned to put it into other things. And I think that's actually helped me. Like I actually put any built up, what you call it, sexual energy, I put it into other things, and then I don't worry about it for that time. That's what I would say. Some tips I want to give to people who are celibate or even just considering it, like you don't have to be celibate until marriage. I think that's the thing people think. When I tell them I'm celibate, they're like, oh, how do you do that until marriage? What? Like, no, I'm not celibate until marriage. Not everyone who's celibate until marriage. And you can choose to be celibate for just a period of time. Like maybe you want to take the time to get to know yourself. So be celibate for a year and get to know yourself, and without any outside influences. Like that's very important, I think, in life. And the thing with celibacy and just even being single, like you just have to not let outside forces get to you. Because to be honest, I don't have a problem with my singleness. I don't have a problem with my celibacy. I've always been a loner, so it's like I'm used to being by myself, so it doesn't bother me. It bothers other people because they're like, oh my god, you're beautiful, you have all this going for yourself, you shouldn't be single, you shouldn't be this, you shouldn't be that. I'm like, says who? Says who? Are you in my head? Are you living my life? Like, why do I need to conform to your standards of who should or shouldn't be single? Like, and that's the thing, like that's the thing you have to basically fight against. You know, like I said, outsiders have issue with my singleness than I do. Like I said, I took the time to get to know myself. I think it's just so important because there are so many people who are in relationships that they have no business being in. No business being in. None whatsoever. Like, and relationships can be a beautiful thing, but if you're going into a relationship and you don't like truly understand yourself, it's like now you're in this relationship and you're trying to know this other person, but you don't even know yourself. So you don't even know if what you're getting from this other person is what you truly want. And not just that, like, there are people in relationships getting cheated on and abused and stuff like that, and they call it being a ride or die. I don't know if I'm built for these days relationships, because you cheat on me, we're done, period. There's no second chance, there's no going back from that. That to me is the ultimate disrespect. I don't even care if we're married or not. Like, we're done. There's no second chance. Like, I have actually met a lot of women who say, oh, if their husband cheat, they will take him back. No, let me not sound judgmental, but do you even value yourself when you say something like that? Like, if he really loves you and truly respects you, why would he step out on you? Like, granted, maybe you guys are having issues sexually or whatever issues y'all are having. Why not talk to you about it and maybe even just be separated for a short period of time versus cheating, you know? But there are women out here who will accept that. These are the same women that are in relationships that they try to put it out like they're so happy and all this stuff, and most of them are not. There are also people out here being abused and stuff in relationships, and it's like, if you put your hands on me, you're going missing. Okay, you're going to go missing. Nobody will be able to find you, period. Like, I don't like some of the stuff like I see people accept these days. It's just like, I don't know, like, I don't know if I'm even built for some of these relationships. And it's crazy, it's a good amount of people who accept like cheating, abuse, and disrespect. And it's just like, I'm not built for that. I've never been built for that. I've always been a loner. So it's like, if I'm gonna let you in my life, you have to bring me just as much joy as I already have or more. You know what I mean? I feel like I have a pretty happy life. I live a pretty good life. The people also have this misconception that single people are like not happy or miserable and stuff like that. That is not the case. That is not the case. I still go out with people. I still go for drinks and dinner and stuff like that, just like people in relationships. It's just that I'm doing this with people that I'm not in a relationship with as yet. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I'm gonna let you in my life long term and you be that sole person, it's like, don't bring me a bunch of headache. Like, you know, don't bring me a bunch of headache. And I feel like that's what a lot of people are willing to deal with these days, and it's just, I'm not willing to deal with it, which sometimes poses my challenge when it comes to like dating and stuff like that, because it's just like certain things, I feel like I don't bring a lot of baggage to relationships. I don't have any kids or baby daddy drama. I don't have any, you know, like my childhood issues or whatever. I felt like I went to therapy for that. I've kind of dealt with any issues that I have, you know what I mean? But there's so many dudes who, they come and they have so much baggage. It's just like, I'm not even willing to take on those baggages from the jump, and it's very hard to find people who don't come well, I would say people my age and older, and mostly I date like older man, like 4 or 5 years older. But like, and then the guys my age, a lot of times are intimidated by me. So it's like it's really hard to find people like 29, 30 who don't have a whole lot of baggage. Because some guys, some of it is just something as simple as they have childhood issues, but they don't want to go to therapy. It's like, how we gonna work if you don't want to go to therapy? You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like I don't bring a bunch of baggage to things, and so that's the other challenges that I face as far as with dating. Also, the fact that I want 5 kids. Actually, I really want like 7 or 8, but I'll compromise at 5, and not a lot of guys you'll find want that amount of kids. And then I also don't date men with kids because, number one, I don't have time for the baby mama drama. I do not have time for it. I don't want to deal with it. I feel like I protected myself, so I want a man who has protected himself as well. And some people might find this as being shallow or whatever the case may be, but I want my first child to be a guy's first child as well. And some people just say, oh, well, good luck, you're not gonna find that. But I've actually found a lot of men who don't have kids. It's just that they be having other issues. I think though, if I was like 30 or something like that, I'd probably be more open to somebody with 1 kid and no baby mommy drama. Like maybe the baby mama passed away, or maybe she's not in the picture or something, or if she is in the picture, she doesn't bring a lot of drama. Because it's just like, I don't want to deal with a bunch of headache. I do not want to deal with headache. But yeah, I don't date men with kids, and that's like half of the market. Um, then men with their other childhood trauma baggage and they don't want to go to therapy. That's another portion of the market. Then you have the one with crazy exes. Like they may not have kids, but they have exes that either they won't let go. First of all, you won't let go of your exes, then we're not even gonna work. And then some of them, like the exes won't let go, and so there's those. And it's just like, I feel like I don't have those issues, so it's like, why do I have to deal with those issues? And some of you may be looking at me like, oh well, every relationship come with problems. Yes, I totally get that. Like, if my dude loses his job or stuff like that, like I can hold it down and we'll be good. If you get sick and break your leg and you can't work, you're on disability or something, granted we have been deep in our relationship and something like that happened, I will take care of you. I feel like those are the challenges I should be dealing with. But baby mama drama, cheating, abuse, shit like that, I'm good. Like, yeah, I feel like I don't need to deal with none of that. Like, you can take that to someone else who's willing to deal with it. It's just a lot of things that I'm not willing to deal with. And in this day and age, it's very rare to find someone who doesn't have all those issues. And everyone comes with some type of issue, some bigger than others, and it's not like I have a problem with people who have some type of issue, but it shouldn't be things that can be avoided. I will say, like, if it's something that you can't avoid, of course, then that's understandable. But I feel like most things that people come with can be avoided. It's just that they made like super bad decisions, and while everyone deserves a second chance, it's just certain things, certain dramas in life. I just feel like I'm too young, and I don't mean to come off as like sounding overly confident or too cocky or whatever, but there's just a lot of things that women put up with, like cheating, abuse, disrespect, all types of bull crap that I just feel like I'm too good for. And I'm not trying to sound overly cocky, but it's like when you know what you have to offer, it's only but I'll accept about this amount of bullshit because um yeah, I feel like what I have to offer is pretty good. So it's like, why should I have to deal with a bunch of crap? Like, I feel like leave that to the people who don't have nothing to offer, but they're trying to be in these relationships. I feel like I have a lot to offer, so I shouldn't have to deal with cheating or abuse or disrespect or none of that. Like, if you can't come correct, it's like, don't come at me at all. And a lot of people, especially guys my age, get intimidated by my don't come with no bullshit attitude towards things. But yeah, these are some of the reasons I've been single in my little celibacy journey. So now family members, friends, acquaintances, and just people in general can stop like thinking that something is wrong with people who are single, or yeah, just stop thinking something is wrong with us. There's nothing wrong. We just have certain standards, and we sometimes are just taking a break to get to know ourselves and stuff like that. But like I said, I do date now, so who knows, I might not be single for long. I don't know if God is ready. I feel like God has prepared me for the man that I am for, and so I think God may still be working on him, or God may already have worked on him, and we just have not found each other yet. Like, I have faith in God, and that I will find my Prince Charming that will give me 5 babies. I have very good faith in God about that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this video came late. I'm so sorry, but I've been sick for the past week. Then it was my birthday weekend. I was trying to celebrate while sick. So this video came late. I've actually been bedridden the past like 2 days. So I'm so sorry for the late video, you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.